sort of magic wand that they're going to pay less and have quicker time, and the designers thinking that that's it, that we finished the design work and we can go on holiday. But far from the truth. So I'll just introduce myself. I'm Mohammed Adib, the Chief Design Officer of D1 Architects and Engineers. For those who don't know D1, just a quick presentation. We're lead consultants, architects, engineers, interior designers, master planners, and quantity surveyors. The company started in '84 in Abu Dhabi, of all places, and then 2003 we moved our office to Dubai. Our headquarters is in Dubai. Then 2008 we opened our back office in Manila. 2009 actually we started our office in Saudi, and we've been quite active since then. In 21 we opened another support office in Cairo. 22 in Vietnam, where for our Southeast Asia activities, and in 2024 we actually celebrated our 40th year. These are some of our projects. We've got, as you can see, over 800 projects. This is a bit old actually. We're about 800 architects working in all over the globe out of our 8 offices. Specifically, what I wanted to talk about is a department we have within D1, which is called MAD. It started out as the Metaverse Architectural Department of D1, and where we do investigation into new technologies, and also a lot of support to our other divisions in the thing. So this is a similar thing of what we're doing. What we do actually is we're testing a lot of available programs, developing some programs, and I'll show you some of the stuff that we're actually implementing and using. So it started in 21, our MAD department. We sort of harness and get people from within the company itself with different specialities. So we have young people, we have coders, we have programmers, and we put them together and we try and develop certain things. So in 2021, when the sort of metaverse hype was going on, we developed this Babylon Bubble 4.0, which was meant to be a design metaverse shared by all designers, academia, and manufacturers to inter-exchange information on the metaverse. Free access, we invited them through some NFTs which they could use to access, and use the platform to share their information. And in 22, we actually did our first NFT, and we're ever since doing that for every single project we finalize. Not so much as a value, but really something to keep for eternal history. You know, one of my first bosses used to make me do a watercolor painting of every project that we finished, to have it as a cover for the document that we submitted to the city, to keep it as an archive value. So for us, we're treating the NFT in the same value as we did back then, the watercolor covers. The NFT series, as I said, is to invite the people. So we've created 99 NFTs plus ours, and we gifted them to designers, academia, and manufacturers, and they have the access with that NFT to our Babel 4.0. In 22, it just sort of, I don't know why we did it, but everyone was doing it, so we thought we had to do it. We actually opened our Metaverse office, which is still there, empty, gathering dust, but if you want to visit it, it's still there. It's a replica of our office, so it sort of did some good in that we started looking into virtual meetings and XR meetings. We tried that actually in the office, and you'll see later we're actually using it a bit more technically now in projects. This has led us to the WebXR launch, which we actually did for our Babel 4.0. And it was a way that we sort of tested big meetings with a lot of stakeholders that could get into the meetings with us, explain, present products within that. The integration into metaverse is slowly being developed over the last year, and since December last year we started really the extensive testing of software and seeing how we could use AI into our sort of workflows. We have the department has grown. It's about 7 people now. We have collaboration with a couple of universities in the Emirates, and they give us an endless supply of interns who are helping to test all the software. We've got listed about already 200 programs. We've tested, I think, till now about 85, and we've implemented about 5 or 6, plus a couple that we are actually developing ourselves. So the program for this year was these 200 programs. What we did is we chose, first of all, we did almost like an audit and a questionnaire to each department that we had in the company, where they gave us the process that they worked in everything. I mean, from HR to accounting, everything, not just design, concept, delivery, and post-contract, all the different departments. They gave us the list of how they did the work, and what we did is we tried to find programs that would be suitable for them. From the 200 list to the 85 tested, we developed 5 for each department, and what we're doing during this last quarter is actually testing them in a simulation of the traditional way they've done it and the new way, with timed sort of how long it takes them, how much resources they have, just to get an idea. And so far, really, it has been incredible, and I'll show you some example a bit later. Okay. So this is what I touched on a bit later. So this year is this AI research. AI again it's I think it's being abused a bit as a word. You know, it is for those of you my age, we started drawing in CAD. You know, it was something. The change from drawing by hand to drawing by CAD was almost as amazing as the change that we're witnessing here. And the same thing happened 15 years ago when BIM started coming in. So really, these are all things that improve the way that we work, optimize the way we work, minimize the errors, improve the QA/QC, but it's not really a design tool. It's something that helps the architects. We are using them as tools, and it's simply that. It will never take over as a designer. Okay. So I'll take 3 different aspects of what we're doing. XR is the first sort of branch of what MAD is doing, and this is something that we're using quite a bit. As I said, this is something that was developed from the Babylon, from our metaverse office. We perfected it, and now incorporating it into BIM, it really is a very, very good tool. You'll see two distinct examples. One we sort of use almost to walk through the client, to present, to discuss. It's not really a full presentation tool, but it's a way to once we've done bits and pieces of the project, it's to get the client to understand it a bit more. For example, this is a project on the Red Sea. It's quite a complex building, so the geometry was very difficult to explain. The views were very difficult. As usual, you know, with these big projects, the stakeholders are all over the place. So this could be a very good way of actually meeting, be it on a tablet, being on goggles or whatever, to see that. So someone goes through. You can always pop up bits and pieces. We've preset some views, but I mean, you can walk freely with the client, point out certain things. You can go inside, outside of the building, always in a more sort of automated way, where we can stick in some videos where they can get the sense of arrival for that. But the important thing is that The client can say, no, show me this detail a bit more, get closer to here, get closer to there. Let's have a look at it from a different angle. And we always have pop-ups of the renders for a better quality. I mean, the quality is quite good here. This is a very, very complex BIM model, but it comes direct from the BIM model. So we're not doing any extra work on it. It's quite clear and quite relevant to explain to the client certain things, but obviously it's not marketing material. But you can have that stored within this, and every now and then you can pop up with certain things, with certain renders, real renders or things like that. But also it could work, you're saying, I don't like this detail, I don't want to use the same material here or something like that. You can take some notes, put notes, the client can take the note himself, put it on there, and it's there recorded. We send the recording afterwards to the client and to the other consultants that are involved in this, so it's documented and very clear to work on future projects. I think it's just a bit of the same. So basically, oops. Yeah. So again, the menu is very easy. I mean, these are the with the goggles, it's quite clear. You can jump in from sites. Obviously, we have to set these up, customize the buttons a bit, report back to sort of the initial concept idea, maybe some real renders that were done about that, and comparing them step by step, because obviously this is at the end of the design process, whereas this is at the early concept stage. It looks a bit shaky when you're sort of because this was actually recorded on an iPad, but on the goggles it's quite realistic and your movement is quite real. The other side of okay, so this is another project also in Saudi. This is during the, let's say, the design stage. So this is what we do is we have our virtual meetings, coordination meetings with all the consultants online. So this is done. What we do is actually each person is identified by a color with a name. So Flo is from interior design, Jay is from architecture. We have I don't know who is in all the BIM manager and everything, and we walk through the model virtually and we look at clashes. So these things, the good thing is that we see issues, we can identify them, try and solve them there, and give actions to whoever wants to do it. For example, here we're looking at there's a problem here where the sort of some pipes are appearing through some bulkheads. We can pop up a window, sketch what needs to be done, and it's recorded on this item. And then MEP has certain actions to do on it. ID has other actions to do on it. Walking through it, the BIM manager can summon everyone there because people tend to wander off and get lost. He's already done the sort of the Navisworks and the clash detection, and then he brings everyone there to this point. For example, this is the same. We're in a little meeting room. We see that for example, he's calling everyone because the TV is badly placed where it should be, and it's again create an issue, document it, and assign it to whoever has to do it, so they update their BIM model. This is actually a really very, very quick way of doing it instead of sort of emails back and forth, sketches. It's a lot more efficient in coordination, and we're using it quite a lot in a lot of our coordination meetings with externals. And as I said before, stakeholders are all over the place. So in this case, for example, the interior design was out of Barcelona, the lighting designer was out of the UK, and we were controlling the architecture, and the MEP was out of Canada. So it's really a very good way for us all to meet and go through the model step by step. Not only sort of detection and detailing stuff, but also we can see for example, here, Gareth actually is this tall, so we put him. He's our BIM manager. We put him taller than everyone else. We can actually implement also the. Oops, sorry. Jump a bit. Okay. So what we do here is, this is, for example, another thing, we can apply the sun setting. So it's also something in a design issue. You know, we have this, this is actually a golf club also on the Red Sea. And what we did is, we put the sun shading onto the plan while we're doing the visit. So we could see, for example, that the bar area where it was designed had too much of a sun exposure during the day. And then we sort of discussed that with landscape, with ID, with architecture, that we need to move this back or something. So this is also helps in real design. You know, it's not just sort of clash control. This is something that wasn't picked up because obviously we study the sun circulation when we design the massing. But once we get into details and design certain pieces like the bar, for example, it became very evident that it was hitting too much sun, and it's a problem for that. So we actually moved that back during the design stage. I'm not sure why they're all wearing glasses, but they appeared like that. Okay. Next part is BIM. This is nothing sort of new, but we're getting a lot more sort of information. And I mean, BIM, the good thing about BIM is data. BIM is full of data. So how we harness the data, how we use it is something that we're working a lot. And developing certain software, it's not really sort of software. It's gathering the data that we have and having a very quick access to it. This is very important. When we're designing, when we're developing, the progress is so huge. There's so many different things. We have this, for example, enhanced analytics of every team. Every project we have has this dashboard. It has all the information we need. It's not just an information for following the projects, but information that we need as in resources, as in who's working on which part of the design is delayed, which is on time, what we need to develop quicker, what we need input from the outside in a very, very simple one-sheet format, which I have access on my iPhone. You can access on the thing. We can give sometimes access to good clients, not to all clients, so that they can actually follow through what the process and what's happening in the project. And this is something all we did was gather all this information on a thing. It's information that's available. We haven't developed anything. It's just really everything that is there comes out to there. AI, the famous thing. So basically, I'll show you a few programs, some that we have developed ourselves, and some that are existing, which we have approached. We have sort of done some work with them, developed even further for them, and had simulations on their behalf on some of our projects to give them a bit of feedback. It really is, I'm concentrating more on design ones, but there are many, many more software that we're using for all the other departments. In this case, this is actually a software that we have developed ourselves. This is something, it's quite scary really. The way we came out about it was almost by mistake, but it is something we managed to sort of mix ChatGPT curiosity, let's say, with BIM. So we develop a folder where we put everything in all sorts of formats, be it BIM, a model, Excel, PDF, Word, everything that we need information, we put it there. It's really more sort of for projects, old projects or projects that are ongoing, and a way to find out things. And it's so clever that, I mean, we thought we're wondering what to call it, and what we did is we asked it, what do you want to be called? And it sort of, after a few seconds, it decided that it should be called Quibble. And it gave us a reason why it wants to be called Quibble. So all the interaction with it, actually, it's quite incredible. So you just dump everything, it opens up. There's two ways that you can access it. The logo, we asked it, but it wasn't so nice, so we developed a logo. So it's not that perfect. So this is the clubhouse that we were looking at earlier. It actually loads the model itself, and then we can walk around. Yeah, there's two ways of asking. Sorry about the quality. I think it's not so clear. But basically there's two ways. You can either click with the mouse at certain elements and ask it a question about that, or you can just text it general elements. For example, I asked it how many cubic meters there is in this building of concrete, and it gives you an exact number. Then you can ask it deeper questions, how many sort of kilos of concrete or things like that. Then sort of as we were testing it, I started abusing it a bit more, you know. So I asked it, with this roof, who sort of developed this roof? Who drew this roof? And it gave me a name of a BIM manager who should not have designed it. And then when I questioned it, because I told him, no, he cannot design this. How can he do that? And she said no. I'm calling her she. I don't know if it's a she or a he. She said no because it is the guy that drew it. And after investigating, we find out that when the model was being created here, the BIM manager that was uploading it, this came out blue. He didn't like it, so he changed it to brown. So it associated the last designer who touched that building as him. But then when I told her, no, who is the one that asked before that? It went 2-3 steps back and gave me the new number, the new person. So it's really quite scary the way the information knows. And certain things, some questions, this is not me, these are the answers. For example, I asked it, when this designer did this, why did you let him to do this? And then it replies with, no, I only know what I know. If you don't give me the information, I can't answer you. You know, it's quite with a annoying tone as well usually. So, but this is quite an amazing program. We're presenting it at Autodesk University in November, San Diego, and I think it's really a very, very game changer, because it has very, very quick access to every single little bit of the information. You can ask it, how many chairs are here? What are the specifications? How many light fittings? How many kilometers of cables we have there? It really is incredible, and it's instantaneous. Quite amazing. These are some of the other programs we're testing. This is sort of, there's a couple of them which are a bit more gimmicky, I would say, but this is, we found it a bit interesting. The way that we design usually is we work on a simple massing to develop them. Once we are clear about the volumes, how the things would look, we would then do some hand sketches based on this massing to show the client. But some clients would never understand this until we get to the final renders. So this program, this is AI-generated renders. Actually, it generates a render from the hand sketch. The good thing is that the hand sketch is based on a real model. It's a lot more accurate, and it does the lighting very well. And it gives quite decent quality renders very quickly based from our sketches. So it's another thing. It's a tool. It's not a thing. Usually we do the model, we hand sketch it, then we sort of render the model a bit more once we are clear about material and mixes. This is one step further, increases that, improves the interaction with the client, and we can get feedback a bit quicker. These are more sort of the normal traditional programs based on sort of generative architecture, generative design, we've been using for quite a while. And it is really more for sort of residential developments, where we start by fixing a lot of parameters of the building, of minimum sizes of apartment, orientation, parts of the apartments, the cores, what they look like, and then developing alternatives for the plot, studying different alternatives, how that would look in a plot, and it gives you all the time very, very accurate data, GFA, BUA, efficiency, the orientation of the apartments with better views, less view, and then you can play around even further. You increase the floor heights, you increase some volumes, you chop away, but always in real time it gives you these figures, which is very, very useful, obviously, for residential developers, because the numbers are critical, and it allows us to reach a certain stage knowing that we will proceed with the developer and we don't need to sort of develop a lot more. I mean, these calculations take a very long time. So if every option of this, we have to recalculate everything, it's quite complex. The same we use is it's a bit for sort of master plan, but it's really for plot planning. We use it more for smaller plot planning. The same thing, we do the parameters, whatever we need, all these things, the terrain we put it there, and then we start doing different permutations just to see how we improve views, how we improve connectivity between the parks and the roads. And as you see, it's very, very easy to sort of just sketch on top, change it quickly, and it gives you the numbers. Again, AI, BIM, it's based on data. Data is very important, and what we need is immediate data, so that helps us when we're developing with the client and developing the project. This is a bit more detailed. Again, it's more sort of for internal plans. So we fix certain things, especially with with residential developments. There are certain criteria where we have to be very strict on. We always like to fix the bathroom size, the sort of modular pods, all that, but obviously that will affect the architecture. So in this case, it allows us to fix certain items and then start carving and playing with the architecture to improve it, yet keeping the sort of the standardization of the modularity of the apartment mix, all that at real time. So we can build it higher, changing the numbers, the orientation, getting balconies, increasing balconies. It's a very good way of working. Also with the parking, changing the grid. Every step of the stage, as we're designing, we're getting accurate data that serves for the developer. This is sort of more of an interior design thing. It's really space planning, where we use it more for offices or for commercial building, where we have certain criteria that needs to be fixed, and we need to put it ideally in a plan. The good thing here is, as you expand them, it adapts directly the furniture, the requirement for it, and it gives you the sort of the general arrangement quite quickly. All these are directly linked with Revit. So we are 100% working on Revit. This is example. For example, it's from Format, which is another sort of a sketching idea, but we can use it quickly to all the different alterations or possibilities of apartments, be it one apartment, two apartments. But always, if you see, the fixed items are always fixed, and it gives you a very quick idea of how furniture could work in it, just to make sure that everything works. Sometimes it takes decisions that are not really reliable and needs to be checked. But it's a very, very quick tool to develop huge plans for multi-unit. This is another program which actually wasn't developed by us, but we sort of worked with the developers over about 6 months to optimize it to us. It's fully implemented in the company. This is a very simple tool. It actually puts the dimensions on BIM models. Just to give you an example, we're working on quite a big model in the Emirates, and it takes about a senior architect. It takes about 7 to 8 hours to actually put the dimensions on that project. With Glyph, it takes 10 minutes. 10 minutes to do that. We started out needing about 20 minutes after that, just to make sure that it's aligned. Sometimes architects, we want the dimensions to be aligned, things like that. It started doing that wrongly. We advise it the second time. It learns from us. So now we're actually 10 minutes and 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes and 20 minutes. And I'm sure soon it will be just automatic. So this is, again, something, we have freed 8 hours of a senior architect's role on a project, which is something that is very valuable. Not that does not mean that we can do more work or we can do something. This allows us to have more creativity because the technical part is shorter. The times are crazy here to develop a project. If we can automate all the technical part at the end of the drafting, that gives us a lot more liberty to design and to test at earlier stages of the project. So basically this gives us the sheet straight away. This is being applied also for by our structural department. Although we're not using it for design, what we're using is to test efficiency. So actually we use our normal methods of calculating structure, but we run it through here, and this AI looks at possibilities of optimizing it. We can do it smaller profiles, we can do it less concrete, things like that, which then we sort of take or not take into account, rerun the calculations and sometimes apply to them. But it's a way of sort of proofing and controlling what we're doing. This is also based out of Format, which is the, let's call it the SketchUp of Autodesk. Again, we do the massing very quickly with this. It's totally interchangeable with Revit, so we can sort of carry on working with the project. But the good thing here is that we can do a lot of environmental tests very clearly and very quickly, be it sun shading, be it air movement, any sort of test that we can do. We put the model in, and then it optimizes you, and it gives you certain ideas about how to improve it. Rounding slightly the corners of the building, putting the column in the corner, creating a balcony so that the wind load reduces on the building and less vibrations and things like that. And then again, I think finally, this is the last one. This is again a gimmicky. This example is actually from them. We started using it, but we haven't found the right materials in it yet. This is a nice way of just testing materials very quickly. Certain clients, when we get to the interiors, they worry about these bits and pieces. So what we do is show them 10 types of wood if they wanted to. But again, it's slightly gimmicky. It works out of the Revit model again. We can fix an image, and because the families are drawn properly, we can do a lot of possibilities. So I think I'm just in time for my chat. Thank you very much. And if anyone has any questions, love to take them.
Thank you very much for the presentation and for making us feel so behind. So that went through, because AI is a topic for a lot of people that they are resisting to go with. And how do you see this is in terms of the management that is with you, or of the top management and the team, and how do you see this is developing in the next decade, and how do you see architects in the future are going to be with the AI? How do you see the future of architecture with that?
As I said in the beginning, it is a tool. It is simply a tool. As I said, we started drawing on tracing paper.
You said it doesn't replace. So that is
definitely
something
does
that
not.
you think, yeah.
Definitely does not replace. It is something that improves the workflow. So the challenges that we have found, actually a lot more resistance from the departments that are not design related than the departments. We have, for example, QS department. We have offered them certain software, certain AI-generated software that makes their work unbelievably more efficient, more accurate, and quicker. They're resisting. They're still calculating the old way. They transfer it to CAD, calculate. It's crazy. For me, it's crazy. Accounts, HR, all these departments they're happy with their system. With designers, depending on the department, the earlier the project, the more open to it. the later it is. You know, concept department, love it. Post-contract, hate it. But I didn't give them an option. This is the plan. This is what we have to do.
So usually you don't go with convincing. You go with this is how we should do it.
This is the future. It was the same with BIM. Everyone was against BIM in the beginning. No, CAD is much quicker. Blah blah blah. This is not true. It could be quicker now. But in 6 months, in 1 year, we have to adapt. And the same with AI. The only thing is that I think that the simulations that we are doing is convincing them. So what I said before, we take exactly the same task. They have to do it how they did it, and they do it with this. And someone sits there and times them and checks it afterwards. And the results are unbelievable.
And what about the ERP system that you have? Are you integrating it with the ERP system?
With the, sorry?
ERP, like the automation system. Are you integrating, having an add-ons, or is it something separate?
Yes, we have quite a big system that's already implemented, and we're implementing it, but we haven't fully integrated it. We're still using it as standalones, although it's accessed with everything. Certain things, yes. Glyph is part of our system totally. The dashboard is part of the system totally. Certain things we're testing a bit more, and we're developing. If we're developing it, we're doing more coding on it. If it's an external, we're working a bit more longer with them.
Thank you very much.
So I explained it very well. No more questions. Amazing.
So it's all an in-house system. Is so the ERP, you're developing it in-house. And then when you are adding the integration, it's also in-house. So it's not an external party. That's what makes it easier, right?
No, there are some external parties, but we approach them and we tell them we have to do it together. Because our systems are special and we need to do that. And it's good for them because they have access to large projects. I mean, what we're doing in the region here are huge projects. Some companies, you know, they're developing a software and they test it on a house. You know, here it's the smallest project that there is in the Middle East is probably 50,000 square meters. Theirs is probably 500. So they like that when we approach them. They want to test it out on brick projects to see if it works or not.
And the last question, do you have a clear goal or where you want to reach with this automation?
It's part of our strategic plan, and the two goals out of that is improving efficiency and worker happiness. So these two factors, and whenever they complain about me, I refer back to that. The idea of this is for worker happiness.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all.